Let's continue our California conversation with UC Berkeley law professor John Yoo and California State GOP Chairwoman Jessica Milan Patterson. Great to have you both back with us.
Thanks, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
Okay, so we are watching this Chesa Boudin case very closely, this election. The Economist says this: Mr. Boudin has painted the recall as a partisan witch hunt, but San Franciscans of all political persuasions support it. They argue over whether the city has suffered due to his specific policies or plain incompetence. The answer is probably both. In San Francisco, Democrats have unilateral control, but far-left progressives are butting heads with moderates trying to cast them as closet Republicans. So, Jessica, how do you answer that? That we've seen the signs, we've heard the chants. This is just a Republican manufactured, bit of drama, but it really doesn't have to do with the job he's doing as a prosecutor.
It's absolutely laughable. Thanks again for having us. And I think we can break some news. I think it has been called that he will be recalled. And it's just so funny to think that in San Francisco, there's this vast right-wing conspiracy happening when we really haven't had that type of influence there. It is absolutely a grassroots movement of all political persuasions where California's Democrats in San Francisco have even said these regressive and soft on crime policies have been hurting us, and we're sick of it and we're tired of it and we want some change.
So, yes, as you said, just coming across the wires now from the AP, it says San Francisco ousts progressive district attorney Chesa Boudin in heated recall that divided Democrats over crime. So according to the AP, John, the call they're making tonight is that he was gone. Now, here's what he said about this whole recall effort. In Politico, just a few days ago, he said the recall is designed to send a message not just to other district attorneys, but to other local officials here in San Francisco that if you take on the powers that be, if you try to effectuate system change, that they're going to come for you and they're going to try to destroy your career. So, John, do you think there are implications beyond him? He says, it was me versus the establishment, which is something we've heard from candidates on the left and from candidates on the right. But he says it's a warning to other people who may try some out-of-the-box policies. And, you heard Trace mention Alvin Bragg in New York and some of the others. We know George Gascon is up next in L.A. for this treatment, too, potentially.
I think you're right, Shannon. This goes well beyond San Francisco. In fact, the fact that Chesa Boudin is recalled in San Francisco, I don't know where those 30% of the city population who are Republicans are hanging out, because I've never met really any more than 2 or 3 at once.
Exactly.
And if that's who are these people who are overwhelmingly pushing him out, who are conservative right-wing conspirators? He's being rejected by a liberal city. There's still a progressive mayor, a progressive city council. There are no Republicans in any citywide office. That's actually much like the whole state of California. And so you would see that same set of circumstances where there are no Republicans in office, but you're seeing places like New York City, Los Angeles, where people who are moderates, who just want to have safe homes and safe neighborhoods and send their kids back to school, are sick and tired of these progressive experiments. Chesa Boudin, he's a smart guy. I had a chance to interview him at a forum here in the city. He stuck by his guns. He believes that he was bringing together a new kind of approach to criminal law. But instead, we got 30% more murders, higher property crimes, homelessness crisis. The experiment failed, and the people of San Francisco said had enough. And I think you're going to see that in places like New York City and Los Angeles, too.
Yeah, so, Jessica, let's talk about that, because in Los Angeles, it's George Gascon who is next up for this, same potential recall effort. Do you think it will be the same result?
I do. They have about 1 month left to collect signatures for the Gascon recall that closes up on July 7th. And I think we're going to have the same outcome. Listen, these district attorneys were elected to represent the people and to be the voice of the people. And what we've seen time and time again with these radical regressive policies is that they are doing nothing but helping out criminals. When we saw that mother being mowed down with her child inside a stroller, and the individual who had a criminal record gets a slap on the wrist and camp over the summer, it's just absolutely heartbreaking. And what these district attorneys need to do is really go out there and make sure that they are representing the people that elected them.
Well, John, do you think that this will change behavior of other prosecutors who are potentially have had similar ideas and methodologies about how they go about crime and prosecution in other cities who may have a self-interest of holding on to their job? Do you think it changes their behavior at all, or no?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. I think Boudin, for example, he saw the polls. He was running 2-1 behind he didn't really try to do anything to change matters. He didn't change course. I think you're also seeing that in places like Los Angeles and New York. And that's because a lot of these DAs, their elections were funded, I think, by a very progressive, wealthy donor class within the Democratic Party that pushed very far left extreme prosecutors. Many of them used to be public defenders, and they didn't really represent the communities. You've got to really create public security and safety first before you can have things like job growth and good schools. And so if government doesn't take care of the basic fundamental job, then people are going to reject it. And they have in San Francisco, probably the most liberal city in America.
Yeah, and again, breaking news here at this hour, the Associated Press says that San Francisco has ousted that progressive district attorney, Chesa Boudin. And we will watch to see what happens with other big city prosecutors now facing the same potential recall trouble and effort. Jessica and John, thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.